a call and I was like, hey guys, are there any particular questions that you have? Because I'm going to be hosting an Ask Me Anything. So Ask Me Anything, for those of you guys who are not familiar, is just an opportunity for me to hang out, meet people, answer questions. I can't tell you how much I love talking about business. Any business. I don't care if it's underwater basket weaving. I definitely want to hear from you. So I was very fortunate to get Linda Kennedy to ask this question. Would love to hear more about creating Instagram, Facebook ads, or your top 5 tips, something like that. And that comment was upvoted, that question was upvoted 4 times. And so I'm a person of the people. Whatever people want is what I produce. So late last night, I decided to put something together because I totally could have answered Linda's question really easily. But I was like, you know what? Let's come forward and let's lead with a lot of value so that we can dive deep into some Q&A. So we're going to be talking about the top 5 tips for advertising your business on Facebook and Instagram. So tip number 1 is to keep your audience warm. So what does this mean? Is that if you're going to start running ads for your business, keeping your audience warm means that you're going to be posting to your Facebook page with regularity before you start creating the ads. Because what happens is if your ads aren't performing all that well, there's a good chance that you haven't cultivated your audience or a group of people who want to say, hey, I want to hear more from you. So if you really want your ads to start working, you got to keep them warm, which that means you're just posting status updates, you're posting videos, you're creating helpful content, and you're getting engagement leading in to the payment of your campaign. Because ads perform better with audiences that have recently engaged with your account. So, liking, sharing, tagging, you responding to comments in a timely manner, all of that goes and is attributed to keeping your audience warm, which would then prep your audience to see more of your ads. Now, the less money it costs for Facebook to show a person your ad, the better off you will be. But you only get those really low numbers when you're doing a lot of activity on your page to get people talking back to you. Let's get into tip number 2, which is to use catchy copywriting. So I should make it very clear. Actually, I should have started this a minute ago. I am not a Facebook or Instagram ads specialist. Not at all. All I know is that I use them for my business, and I've done a ton of research on practices and advice that you should be using. So of all the stuff that I've read, I've decided to make it as easy as possible in 5 tips. And so I'm also not a copywriter either. But I did read like what people call catchy copywriting, and there's like these terms in copywriting that work really well in advertisements. So they're called action words that are like try, now, get, save, and start. These are things that pop off a screen. So as somebody is scrolling through Instagram, try our new juice cleanse, or get a free copy of this book today. So there's these words, and they're called catchy word phrases. So as somebody's scrolling, you want to make sure that you're stopping people in their tracks. And specifically, if you have a time-sensitive ad, like book now and get 10% off before Friday, or our New Year sale ends today. Like using time-sensitive stuff is always great at pushing an audience to require an action right then and there. Tip number 3 is to know your ideal client. And this I think is like pretty amazing, because the thing about Facebook and Instagram is that there has never been in the history of all mankind another marketing platform that has so much robust data about who is actually on Facebook and on Instagram. So it's not enough for you to be a baker and say, I sell brownies, and I sell brownies to whoever wants brownies. With Facebook, with Instagram, you could say, I want to sell my brownies in Los Angeles to females between the ages of 24 and 34 who make over $150,000 and went to USC. Like you can even go deeper and deeper and deeper. You can actually tailor your ads to a very specific person according to how much they make and where they live and how old they are and their other common interests. It's totally bananas. So you're not just like putting an ad in a newspaper and then you hope and pray that people find it. You're actually saying, here's an ad that I want to go to a very specific person. But before you think about putting an ad, I want you to think very hard about who that person is. In fact, Instagram says that 60% of people say they discovered new products on Instagram, and 75% of people take an action after being inspired by a post. So this is freaking great news, because if the vast majority of people have already said, I've discovered great things on Instagram, I've bought great things on Instagram, they're going to be more likely to discover and buy in the future. But you just got to show your ads to the right person. I actually follow on Instagram this ad specialist. His name is Rick Mulready, and we're in the same mastermind. And he did a really funny Instagram story about how there was an ad that he was getting targeted to for female waist tucking jeans. And he was just like, this is a perfect example of a company who's wasting money, because your ads shouldn't be targeting a guy in his late 30s for a female waist tucking jeans. So knowing who your target client is, your target customer who you want to work with, is always advantageous. Tip number 4 is to choose scroll stopping images. So what do I mean by this? Well, I don't call this, what am I, a freaking scientist? This is simply called split testing. So what I like to do is I like to create an ad and I run the exact same ad, but I use 2 or 3 different photo options. And I start with a very low Facebook or Instagram budget. And then I let those ads breathe, or what I call breathe, for 48 to 72 hours. Now, of those 3 photos, the one that performs the best, the one that are people responding to, the one that's getting the most engagement, I close out the other options and then I double down on the one that has performed the best. Because I can guess which photo will do best on Facebook. I can guess which photo on an ad will do well on Instagram. But you know what? The market always decides. And sometimes I'm blown away. I was like, this photo? This is the one that's performing best? Like, I don't get it. But you only get to know and feel really confident with your ads when you split test. So you want to choose scroll stopping images. And we're going to get into tip number 5, which is to clearly and quickly state the benefit. So what does this mean? Well, your ads need to clearly state why. And this is what I see again and again, because anybody can run an ad on Instagram and Facebook. But the most highly effective ads on Instagram and Facebook are those that explain the benefit to the people that are watching. It's not enough to say, buy my shoes. The thing that you need to say is, why should somebody buy your shoes? Do they help your ankles? Do you jump higher? Do you run faster? Yes, these are actual things. Like, do you guys remember when like Bo Jackson did like that big like early 90s Nike campaign, or like Michael Jordan? Like, I believed that if I wore Michael Jordans, I could actually jump higher. I don't know if that was just good marketing or a thing I made up in my mind, but either way, the benefit was sold to me as a consumer. So if you want people to buy your book, if you want people to walk into your salon, why? There's too many books out there that are competitive to you, and there's too many salons that other people can go to. You need to clearly and specifically explain, why should somebody buy your product? Why should they sign up for your newsletter? Why should they listen to your podcast? Basically, why should somebody hire you? Your why should focus entirely on the benefit for the person seeing that ad on Instagram or Facebook. We have to remember that our ads are not intended to make us feel cool or special or allow us to be like, hey guys, look at how great this ad is. Heck no, I don't care about that. I don't want to be cool. I want to say, this is the value that my business brings to you. Are you interested? So all ads do is present the offer, and my tips all relate to making that offer look better. Now, I have been using ads in my business for about 2 years, so I'm really late to the ads game. But let me tell you, as a hustler, I've done a ton of research. I've invested a ton of money. And every single time I've run an ad campaign on Instagram or Facebook, I look back and I think to myself, wow, that was freaking incredible. I should have spent more money on ads every single time. So here's the thing. When you know what they're doing and you feel very educated and you know exactly how to work through the process, you feel a lot more confident. So if at this point in time you're like, man, I really would love to create an ad on Instagram or Facebook, I have good news for you guys, because if you guys go to mysocialcurator.com, this month's issue, which is issue number 8, walks you through the exact process of how I create my ads. But here's the best part. Because I'm not an ad specialist, I invited a brilliant ad specialist. She came in and she made a complete video tutorial on how to create not just regular Instagram ads, but awesome Instagram ads. She walks you through the exact step-by-step process. There's a video that our subscribers will get. And I have to tell you that this video has only been live for about 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks yet. Perla Photography said she followed the video and created the ad and got 15 inquiries and 1 booking. You guys, like in less than 2 weeks. I mean, here's the thing. The ads work if you know what you're doing. And because I'm not a professional, I don't feel comfortable walking and be like, so you're going to pick your ad set, you're going to pick your audience. Like literally Claire walks you through all of that. I feel so proud of it. So you guys want more information, you guys can definitely dig in there. But now it's time for Q&A. If you guys have questions in regards to what we just discussed right now, please pour them in. I would love to hear from you. Oh, there are already questions. Okay, let's see. We start with Carly. Yes, okay. What's a great example of ad images? Do you suggest text on an image or just a caption? A video? Would love to know your opinion. Carly, yes, 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 yes. I test them all. I have to tell you, I do not become emotional whatsoever to my ads. I'm indiscriminate. I say, which is the best ad? So for instance, y'all, if you guys have been around the block with me for a second, last month I launched my Instagram for Business course, Insta180. No, it's not a pitch because the card is closed. There you go. Now, what you guys saw during that time was me posting a variety of different options. I had photos with text. I had photos without text. I had a video that was 30 seconds. I had a video that was 2 minutes. I literally went the whole gamut of what's going to work. What do people want to see? And what worked for me 6 months ago might not work for me now. Why? The changing demographic of Facebook is always different. What people want to see, where they're at, how they're feeling, and the algorithm changes are always pervasive. So it's going to be for me, hey, I got to test it. Let me show you. You asked for an example of good ad images. I will show you. This is actually from Social Curator. It's an action plan. It's like 25 pages. It walks you through, and I give examples. What you'll see on the right side are 2 samples that performed really well for me. One with text, one without text. And I'm a firm believer in pretty much being like very much an open book when it comes to my ads, but I'm specific when it comes to talking about numbers with specificity to just my subscribers and my members. I don't really like to put it out in a public space because, you know, it's like business stuff. So we actually are going to be walking through this process with our Social Curator subscribers. I haven't made an announcement yet, but please know that something's on the horizon that we are going to be going in much deeper with our subscribers. So it's going to be a good thing. Micah Sullivan, I'm starting to rebrand my business and I'm wondering what you would suggest to do to explain to my current audience the many changes that will be happening. Do you suggest to do a rebrand or relaunch it all at once? Plan giveaways. I want to do something to excite my audience, but also explain the reasons for my changes. You're going to hear this 10 different ways from 10 different people. I never announce changes, ever. Because I don't want to give people an opinion. I don't want to give people the opportunity to have an opinion about my business decisions. The only person who's best suited to make a decision for my business is me. And the only person who's best suited to make a decision for your business is you. If other people don't get it, that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to walk towards your upward calling of fulfillment, light, and legacy. Period. So in that regard, the only thing I've ever done is I've rebranded and I was like, hey guys, I rebranded, here it is. Like I never had felt like the necessity to talk about why I was doing it or who I was doing it for. It was just like, it's my business, I'm gonna roll with it. If you like it, cool. If you don't, you know where the digital door is. I know that sounds like I have an attitude, but that's really the last thing of it. Okay, let's see. Kellen Wilson, as a photographer, do you think Facebook ads would work for model calls? Yeah. Oh, they would slay. They would slay. In fact, I think the ads would work so well that you have to put some sort of parameters on how people should apply. I would never run an ad to say, if you're interested in being a model, leave your information here. No, you will get completely bombarded. What you want to do is like, if you want to be a model, you would either create like a Google Doc for people to create submissions, or you would say, email me with, and then you would say how tall you are, your size, your dimensions, your ethnicity, and a photo, a full body and headshot of you. Because even though you're not working with professional models, there's a lot of beautiful men and women in the world, but it's going to be too easy just to say, here's my email address and too much on the back end. So from my experience doing model calls, even though it wasn't related to ads, I would require them to do a lot of things. I need photos, I need height, I need all of these other things. But yeah, I think they would totally slay. Let's see. Linda Kennedy, can we buy just the teaching on Instagram ads on Social Curator, or do we have to purchase the whole thing? Well, Linda, the good news is that Social Curator is just $25. So if you join today, it will be $25 and you get the training. You get 30 photos that you can use on Instagram and Facebook, and you can use them for your ads if you would like. And you also get 15 caption templates. So you get a full training, you get 30 photos, you get 15 captions for $25. And I should also mention that our ad specialist who contributed to this to this issue has an Instagram and Facebook course for $2,000. She sells it as a standalone, and she came in for my audience and gave a very honed in specific message just for Instagram ads. It is completely beautiful and freaking amazing. So yes, if you would like to come in and just get the March issue, if you just like to come in and get the February issue, absolutely. You just have to make sure that you unsubscribe. This is a monthly subscription, so it's going to renew every month, but you can come in and just buy this month and then unsubscribe. Although I wouldn't hope that you would want to, because next month we have something good coming on. I'm not lying. It would be worth to stick around. Okay, I will leave it there. Susan Dodd. So just to clarify, you place several ads at once to see which gets the best response and then remove the ones that don't and add the one that is. Absolutely, completely spot on. I will run 3 ads with about the same copy. That's when I talk about the catchy copywriting, the catchy copywriting. It's going to be like, join Insta180 now, or the cart is closing in 24 hours, right? So I'm calling people to make a call of action. I choose to be part of Insta180 or I don't. And then I select 3 different photos. And then I'll run each ad for about $5. I mean, you could really just test it to kind of see which one people are clicking to and responding. And Facebook has the most robust back-end management. You get to see which ads are doing well in real time. And then after 72 hours, I will close out the 3 ads. I will close the 2 that doesn't work and then double down my budget on the one that does. Very great clarifying question. Thank you so much. Let's dive into one of the pre-asked questions from yesterday. Make sure that we're giving a balance to those who should have yesterday and today. Catherine Anfield. I believe I'm correct in saying if I interact with my favorite business pages post, that I will begin to see them more often in my feed. But if I'm interacting as my page, well, then they begin to see me more in their feed as well. Just trying to understand Facebook's algorithm and organic reach. So I actually really liked Catherine's question, and it was upvoted twice. Basically, just going with the flow of who wants what questions answered. Because basically, I'm here for you. Why am I saying basically today? It's because I haven't had coffee. Do you guys see how puffy my eyes are? I mean, really, I didn't sleep well, I haven't had my coffee, so we're gonna use a lot of basically today. So basically, when you are acting as your business page and you go and leave comments on other business pages, you are indicating to the Facebook algorithm that those are the pages that you wanna see in your feed with more frequency. But it does not mean that those pages will see your page unless they go back and respond to your comments. Unless they go back and go to your page and leave comments. The algorithm treats each person based on their actions, not the actions of the pages that they're engaging with. I hope that makes sense. Let me dive in. I want to do more live questions. You guys, I love this, but I also feel all kinds of awkward because you're literally sitting in front of your camera trying to be like, I got this. Yeah, this is not cool. I'm very comfortable, and I'm totally not. So the fact that you guys ask questions, it means a lot, because then it means we're actually having a conversation, and I'm not like this creepy girl who's just sitting in her living room having a conversation. Okay. Jen Vasquez, I just had a company that specializes in men's product ask if they could write a blog for me, for my grooms. Should I post a picture of a groom buttoning his shirt instead of a cool product pic they provide? I'll honor doing their product pic this time, as it shouldn't ruin my feed, but for the next time they do this, should I choose a wedding image instead? Okay, Jen, I would be very cautious, because I know that you are a social curator member, and I watch my members. You have over 1,100 followers on Instagram. That's pretty freaking impressive. And they're telling you what you can do on your account. I would caution that. I would say you need to protect all forms of your social media the best you can. And I'm going to be very honest. I do not preach what I do not practice. I can't remember. I honestly, it has been years and years and years and years and years since I've had a company or a sponsored post on any of my social feeds, because I protect that. I think that you should protect, even though you don't like to write, girlfriend, use some social media captions. And when they come to you with a value proposition and they're not paying you, you get to establish all the rules. You get to establish all the terms. You are Castro and Instagram is your Cuba. You make the rules. Don't let anybody say what you can do on your account. Truth. So whatever the terms are, I don't even need to read the terms because they don't matter to me. They should only matter to you. You go back to them and say, this is what I'm comfortable with, and then move on. Sorry, do I have an attitude? I like it. Another reason why I need coffee. I'm cranky in the morning without my coffee. Let's see. Edit Vasti Denning. Would you run an ad to promote a Facebook group? Yeah. If you feel, now here's the thing that I want to be very, very, very careful with. I believe in measuring the efficacy of a Facebook or an Instagram ad, which means that Instagram, and I don't want to get too crazy or up level here, but Facebook has this thing called a pixel. It sounds like very fancy, but it's just a way to measure where people went in the process. So I will place a pixel on a, let's say, checkout page. Like they went and they purchased Insta180. Then I can measure that my ad took them from Facebook to my sales page and they bought. Then I could say, wow, that's how well my ad works. I can measure it. Now, without a form of measurement, like to go into a free Facebook group, you can't really measure how much of that ad was pushing people to the Facebook group. You will obviously see an uptick, but without you saying like, oh, to join the Facebook, it's going to cost this much money. I mean, to buy a product, it's this much money. You know, you can have these systems of measurements. An ad for a Facebook group would totally work. But my challenge and encouragement to you would be that once they're in the Facebook group, to have some sort of sales funnel. Like, what are you ultimately selling people in that Facebook group? I do not think that you should pay to get people into a group if you do not have a way to monetize it on the back end. Did I just totally geek out right now? I totally geeked out on ads. Okay, let's dive into another question that was asked yesterday. Okay, Sarah Jones, good morning. I was wondering if we should use a Facebook group or a Facebook page to reach and engage potential customers, which is more beneficial for business. And then Helen Siemens asked, Jasmine, I have a similar question. I want to post educational videos, lives about essential oils and can't figure out if I should do it straight up on my page or in a group via a live event. If I open a group for non-members, I'm afraid somebody might come in and steal my people. What's the best route? Okay, so that was kind of like 4 questions all in one. Let's start with the basics. Should you have a Facebook group or a Facebook page? And the answer is it's entirely your own, but I want you to reverse engineer. I want you to work backwards from what your goal is. Like if your goal is to one day run Facebook ads, you have to run Facebook ads from a Facebook page. You can't run Facebook ads if you just have a Facebook group and a personal profile on Facebook. So if ads are in your future, I would encourage you to get a page. Facebook groups are really, really, really amazing at creating community and making yourself accessible to people. But at the same time, sometimes communities get so big that you can't put parameters or rules in there. Like if Miss Siemens, if Helen was to go and create a Facebook group about essential oils and then other people who sold essential oils were going in there and poaching her clients, well, that really sucks, but it's a free marketplace. And here's the same thing. It's a free marketplace on your Facebook page. I ran an Instagram challenge and I was selling Insta180. This was like back in October. And I had a hashtag on Instagram, Insta180 hashtag. Like we were doing a challenge. And then other people who sold Instagram programs were using the hashtag Insta180 during the challenge. I was like, dude, that's shady. Like that's like a bottom crawler. Like here I am working and I'm investing and I'm paying in ads to get people through a challenge, to get them through a webinar, to get them to buy my product. And then other people are going there like poach? Wrong. But you know what? It's a free marketplace. I think it's bad. I think it's distasteful, but you know what? They're going to do them. And there's nothing that we can do on a Facebook page or in a Facebook group that will stop other people from doing shady business practices. It's neither here nor there. Our job and our responsibility is to provide value, period. And the better you are, if it's on a page or in a group, it doesn't matter. It's truly your content and your presence will determine the effectiveness of your page or your group. Okay. I feel like I'm losing my throat. Crystal Shuta. Oh, sorry, I killed it. What are your thoughts on Instagram or Facebook pods? Worth time or no? P.S. Good morning. Well, thank you, doll. I appreciate it. Okay, so I've been pretty open about my thoughts about Instagram pods. I know that there's a lot of rumors right now that Instagram has been dinging people or shadow banning accounts that they suspect are pods just to kind of beat the engagement algorithm. I don't know how true that is because Facebook and Instagram are notoriously tight-lipped about their practices. I don't know of it one way or the other, but I knew the minute I saw Instagram pods, it just was not for me whatsoever. Only because it's really hard to make sure that everybody is contributing to the same at the same rate. There are some people, if you join a pod, for those of you who don't know, an Instagram pod is you reach out to a group of people. So if you are going to do an Instagram pod, I never recommend more than like 5 to 6 people, because beyond that, it just gets so hard to understand who's posting and when. Some pods I've seen were like 20, 30 people, and it's like, oh my God, what a nightmare. Because what happens is you reach out to these other people, you get on an Instagram DM, and every time you update your Instagram account, you send everybody a message, say, hey guys, I updated. And then that group has to go over to your account, like the photo, and leave a comment that's more than 4 words. Because yes, this is positively true. Instagram weights comments differently. When you get a comment, when somebody says, cool, that's very different from getting a comment that says, wow, that's so cool. 4-word comments are weighted better in algorithms on Facebook and Instagram. So if you have a pod, all these people follow the same thing. But like, to me, I would think that Instagram would be savvy enough to see if there's a group of people that go again and again and again. It's the same people leaving the same comments with that level of consistency. I just know that pods are not a fit for me. They take too much time. And then sometimes the thing I've seen a lot is that they start off really strong, and then like a month or two after people are just like, I'm tired of going on and leaving comments again and again, they kind of like peter out. So there's that. Okay, it is, whoa, we've been chatting a minute now. We're already at the 27 mark. I usually like to keep these at 25 minutes. So let's just make sure we kind of go through. Okay. Ashley Brown, if a celebrity or high-profile influencer features your product on an Insta story, which is obviously up to 24 hours, what are some things you should do during that time frame to take full advantage of the exposure? This happened to me the other day, and the whole time it was up, I kept thinking, I should be doing something. Ashley, well, 1, congratulations to have your product featured. That's amazing. Pat yourself on the back. And instead of your first thought being, I should do something, I want your first thought to be like, dang, this is a sign that I'm moving in the right direction. Number 2, express gratitude. Thank you so much. Like, I'm doing the thing that I want to do and other people are seeing that. Number 3, now it's time to hustle. My challenge to you, boo, is not what should I do in this moment to capitalize on this exposure. That should be your question every single day. Every time you put out a piece of content, you never know the next time you're going to get a shout out from an influencer. So all of your content should be in line. You should have your bio set up so that people know what you do, who you are, where you're located, and how they can buy. And number 2, you should have a way to grow your newsletter list. So when this influencer sends people to your account and they read your bio and they're like, oh, I get what she does, I want more information. Do they get like a free tutorial? Are they getting a checklist? Are they getting a guide? Are they getting a free download? Make sure that when they get to your account, you're giving them what I call a free gift. Like, so when somebody comes to my Instagram account, I want them to know that I'm a photographer and I'm a business strategist, and I help people grow their social platforms for a profitable business. Hey, not only that, I let them know how they can contact me, and this comes my free gift. If you want to learn more about me, or if you'd like to get social media tutorials and free stock photos, download them here. And my one exit link is to send people for a way to grow my newsletter list. We're going to get to that in a second, maybe like sometimes next week when we talk about growing a newsletter list. But the idea is you should be prepped 24/7. That is the game of digital technology and marketing. Okay. I'm going to do one last question because we are already at almost at the 30-minute mark. Michelle Sanchez, do you recommend adding interest to your Facebook ad audience selection? Generally, no, but if you have like an audience size and it's like 3 million people and you're like, oh, this ad is a little bit like too big, I want to narrow it down so that I can make a smaller funnel, but whoever comes through this funnel is a much better fit for me, then absolutely add interests. Remember, the more things that you can add to the more elements that you can add to an ad to target a person, it'll mean that less people will see it, but they're a much more qualified audience to see that ad who will be more likely primed to buy. Just something to think in the back of your mind. But you want to know what I recommend? I would recommend setting an ad with an audience and then setting up the exact same ad to the exact same audience and then adding interest and then measure the efficacy. I was going to say measurability. Good Lord, sweet Jesus, I need some coffee. And measure the efficacy and measure the, what is the other word? You guys, help me out. Send me some coffee, stat. measure the efficacy and the, I want to say effectiveness, but that's not it. Like how well it did. Measure how well it did. That's all. Peace out, y'all. My brain had the most epic brain fart. For those of you guys who definitely want more information on how to build your Instagram ads, you can see this here of what it will actually look like. And for $25, you will get 30 photos, 15 captions, an action plan, and soon to be announced, some very good special news just for our subscribers. I hope to see you guys on the inside. Bye, y'all. Have a good one.